Thank you. In the meantime, I'll just say a very quick hello. And thank you, everybody, from so many different walks of my life for coming and being a part of this event. Thank you so much. Sean Edry.
So, welcome to the inaugural book launch of This Too by Celia Merlin. Yes. To kick things off properly, I'd like to introduce a very talented musician, composer, arranger, and the director of the Boosgumps Music Ensemble, Tomer Kling. Esti Rofeh, internationally known solo flutist. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Boosgumps. Sid.
wanted to mention that obviously is Jacques Brel, but the arrangement is Tomer Kling, all Tomer Kling.
I first met Celia many years ago in a place not too different from this one, at a poetry reading. If you have read this book or ever heard Celia perform her poetry, you'll know what I mean when I say that I was blown away. Her words and her tone at that reading were playful and fun, but you couldn't deny the sheer heart that went into each and every line, the honesty and the real emotion. I was fortunate enough to get to know her and befriend her, and as a friend, I felt completely justified in nagging her like a yenta. Where's the book? Where's the book? Everybody else has a poetry book. Why don't you, Celia? And here we are, not too long after, with this wonderful collection of this too. It's a book that, like Celia herself, never quite does what's expected. It's full of charm, full of energy, full of mirth, but also a story that is honestly told and is real in what it presents. A story that is told in fours, right? You have 4 cities, 4 sections, 4 phases of life. And yet, as you read it, you find yourself moving back and forth through time, following memories and feelings rather than the ticking of a clock. It's a journey that I am delighted to have taken through this collection, and one that is now available to everyone. Congratulations, Celia. I look forward to the inevitable sequel of this 2-2 Electric Boogaloo. With that, I'd like to read a few poems from the first section, named after the primary weapon and tool of the poet, of words, of words, of words. Teeth. You grind your teeth, the dentist tells me. And from that day on, I notice it's true. I grind my teeth, not only at night, but on the bus, at work, as I dunk the little children in their bath, little onion heads. I grind my teeth, and I don't know if this was always true and unnoticed, or if new and intensifying. I churn my teeth, and like butter they bend, yellow-white on red gums. Tin foil fillings, rejected transplants in spaces emptied, foreign. Whose mouth is this that exudes such force? What words are those being ground to a pulp? Dinner party, Paris. The lilies were wet when I bought them. My black skirt slightly damp against my thigh. Mine is the 9th kier on the table. Its cassis mixes light with white wine. From the corners, Joni plays, singing, "Help me, I think I'm falling." Lamb moist, talk rapid and alive. I like your guests. They take turns passing jokes across a blue linen cloth, and I miss my cue more than once. My hair too tight, my shirt too stiff, their laughter healthy and full. I butt my cigarette and try hard to think of something clever. Passé composé, l'imparfait, maybe tu, maybe vous. My eyes are on the lilies, my skirt slightly damp against my thigh. To the sounds and motions of friends I don't know, tonight I remember only words. Celia has a couple of poems that deal with social media, which, to be honest, are my favorites. This is not my favorite Facebook poem. You can find that in the book, but this is a really good one too. People you may know. Scrolling Facebook, your face keeps appearing. People you may know. Many times. With your right arm resting above your head, an unusual pose at that. Between weekend vodkas, I imagine your story. the one you've sent out, eyes straight on, fluorescent tulips, they stop me or anyone else you may know. As in bed on a pillow, your arm on your head, lays spent, post-sex cigarette, though we both have quit. Between weekend drinks, I see 10 common friends, and some are museums and businesses. Only one, maybe two, know my name. And I don't know if you are married or single or complicated. Your right arm rests on your head, and the lens loves you, and so do you. So sexy, your likes show desire for ideas I love. And you could be gay for all I know. There's a pose in one picture where I think it's so. On an armchair, both legs to the side, and you're leaning. But there are also some kids in the pictures you share who share your last name, and your arm hugs them warmly. Same arm from the photo of the you I may know. And you are all so happy and handsome and close, and I wonder, where's mom? Though I'm happily married, is she taking the picture? Off on a spree with her new beloved on a tropical isle? Or is she holding a grudge the very same moment I'm scanning the life of the you that you've shared? For the years that she's lost with your arm on your head, for the life you've created for someone like me, after 2 weekend vodkas, just scrolling on Facebook through people that I may know. Harvesting. Overwhelmed by the beauty of other people's words. I am numbed by the noise in my head. Idea to idea, picture to picture, must be whittled down from tree to stick, to perfect flute, to raw, to gut and true. How can I work when characters crowd and letters leap out, when dusks are devoured or drip through cheesecloth, when moss stains nostrils and goats go grazing in phrases I wish that I had birthed, that I had dug up first? Thank you. Next up, we have a poet whose work has been translated into many languages, a member of the Israeli Association of Writers in English, and the author of How Country Music Helped Me to Make Aliyah. Please welcome to the stage Lois Michal Unger.
Okay. First, I'm going to read Piano at Night. Oh, I was really pleased when Celia asked me to read. And I don't remember where I met her, but it feels like I've always known her. It's funny, she thought, that I'd have lots of sugar. She passed through my doorway, a cup in her hand, for a cake she was baking for guests from abroad. And knowing my unstocked cupboards well, I began to collect from various bowls found randomly in my kitchen. One on the table and one on the shelf, crystallized crumbs here and there, 3/4 of a cup, a bit lumpy and brown, from coffee spoons hastily used. Why would she think that I have sugar? No aromas exude from my door. No cinnamon spice or nutmeg delights float from my windowsill to hers. And she took the sweet mixture, though not all she'd expected, downstairs to prepare for those coming. Perhaps it was the sound of Piano at Night or Dance on My Terrace that misled her. Okay. This is called Spin and Sing. Sleeping soft on your belly, a muffin, hands raised like daisies across the blue blanket, dolphin smile curled up at the sides. So still at night, my ears strain to hear you. I try to hear you still breathing, butterfly sighs, sucking and sighs drunk with sleep. Signs of a modern baby. Throwaway diapers and head guards. Soapless shampoo and electric bottle warmers. Mobiles that spin and sing, spin and sing. My grandmother had no refrigerator to keep her baby's milk. No nursing bras or washing machine. No pre-strained fruits or pre-chewed meats. In the kitchen, I prepare your formula. Sad breasts, empty, tire in the night, return to their other role. In the bedroom, your father stares at the ceiling, thinking about a friend who had an affair in Vienna. I bring you your bottle and then join him. He wonders if we'll make love tonight. Commitment, Erev Yom Kippur, Ramat Gan. Just listen to the quiet, I say to my young daughter as I pull her to the terrace after the pre-fast meal. Just listen to the quiet. Out of Israel, in any city, there's no quiet like that. Stop it, Ima, she answers to the words I've aimed at her as she adjusts her helmet straps. A day of no cars and only bikes. You must commit to atonement on Israeli streets. Souls searching on wheels, not so easy. America, driving to shul on a rainy weeknight, past malls and plazas, and not to be entered ice cream parlors, bursting with whipped toppings. My sister and I miss too much school, the teacher says. A full day of prayer is too long in Ramat Gan. We compromise on just Nila. Walking to shul, I hold her hand and wonder if she'll set a table, white and broad, of her own one day, graced with pomegranates and wine. Note to grown kid, inspired by This Is Just to Say by William Carlos Williams. I parked your red car across the street under the tree that sheds. Your sister was thrilled to drive in your absence and hopes that you bought her that orange hat. Please resume your turn with the doggy. His paws miss the wet of the leaves. Fresh milk in the fridge for your plump raisin cornflakes, neither of which ran out for the week. My computer is out again. Can you check it? Had no one to help roll their eyes or sigh. You'll have to catch up on our TV series. I tried to hold out but was bored. Sorry. Leave wash on the counter. Find keys on your desk. Your mail's on the kitchen table. Hope flight was good. Peek in, but don't wake us. I'll know.
Thank you, Lois. And now, it's fine, a musical interlude from the very talented and well-known Israeli singer and composer, who will in fact be appearing in her new show, Kmo Of HaChol, Like the Phoenix, tomorrow night at the Ezor Club at 8:30. You writing that down? Accompanied by Tomer Kling, and singing Erev Ironi. Please welcome Meital Trabelsi.
אולי אם הייתי יודעת שעכשיו תורי, אז לא הייתי בוכה בדיוק. זה כל כך מרגש, איפה את? אני פשוט בוכה, אני מקרים ואני בוכה, מפגרת.
סיליה, את כתבת את זה?
וואי,
איזה יופי.
איזה יופי, איזה יופי.
טוב, תרגי. כל נשמותינו הבלות שתה שסב תלחכנה נפנוף שלום ילדה פתיה את חיוכה נשא האוטו מה שהיה ולא היה נדמה כמו ישוב להיות עוד כעת אני מאוד אחד ומסתכל מאוד בשקט איך הלבנה חולצת שד מקיר הבית שמנגד כעת אני מאוד אחד ומסתכל מאוד בשקט איך הלבנה חולצת שד מקיר הבית שמנגד ברוב תוחלת שקיעה עבודה ספר חום וחוב כמיל הרשת חלת מי שהגיע עד הסוף ירצה לבכות ברוב תוחלת שקיעה עבודה בין הגגות אספלט כחול מלמטה אומרות לערב מזל טוב יקירתי אני כבר מחכה לשני
תומר קלינג. תודה רבה.
Interesting choice of song, by the way, because it connects quite nicely to the next section that's going to be performed here. And with that, I'd like to introduce our next reader, a writer, artist, photographer, as well as the editor of several titles, including this very book. Winner of several poetry awards, including the Reuben Rose, his most recent poetry chapbook, Breakfast at the End of Capitalism. How does that taste? One wonders. Came out from Lakofo Chaps earlier this year. Please welcome Michael Dickel.
Hello, I don't like podiums. Hi, Karen. This book, all right, I'm going to read The Field, Lexington, Kentucky, 1961. Kentucky. Green grass so blue it confuses, so tall we can hide, sitting straight or slithering as snakes on our bellies, browned from the ground. The field is vast, and the grass is so blue and so fresh that it reaches inside us. We friends of the meadow, we meet to expand. We meet to escape in blue grass on our backs, looking upwards, past tall reeds to castles, to seas, upwards and on beyond blue grass, and then. All right, Tel-Aviv love song. Got to have some love songs here. This Tel-Aviv city on disappeared dunes, pushing, pulsing, and salty sea. This urban safari, this basket of nations, unrelated patches next to blue waves, where once yellow-white blended pure on your palate, now ashen soot on your peeling facades. For years I wandered your streets in disdain. You Bauhaus white city of falling structures, you neglected metropolis of poorly planned hopes, I did not learn to love you, Tel Aviv. And then something changed. Perhaps it's the years, my acceptance of where, or maybe a loosening of shoulds and why nots. I can see you more clearly today. I can see your small workshops of grease, wood, and metal, your baskets of rice, coriander, and cumin, twisting pathways, alleys, and all of it covered in a dust of light sand. I can see silver scrapers jut out to the sky, fancy ladies, big hats, folded, homeless, tattered mats. A city like any, like Paris, Madrid. A city like any, like no other city, a Jew in front and a Jew behind. Arabs, foreign workers, all longing for home. Magnificent weave of woes and wealths. I sing your praise, repent, disregard. My feet in sand footprints of those gone ahead. I study your face as if it weren't mine, as if you belonged to somebody else, as a guest in a stranger's backyard. This is actually one of my favorite poems. It's so simple and sweet and short, and yet there's a lot in it, I think. Reduction of the day. From thin soup light to thickening evening, the day evaporates slowly, lidless, into the night. Okay, and now we're back. Tel Aviv Beach, winter abundance. On the rocks near the beach, a splintered sky, gray-boned and cracked, a wide, bolted crack. White sun, like soup, pours evenly. Out here, I am next to pebbles and peddlers, chalky sand on bare knuckles, tight winter air, and the push of the water, and the rich salt of kelp, fatly green in the tide, the cool and the warmth, the sky and the sea, exulting in winter abundance.
Okay, next to the stage is an award-winning poet, professor, and editor. Her work has been translated, made into music, woven into theatrical performances. Her most recent book, Drachim Le'ehov, Ways to Love, was published by Keshev this year. Please put your hands together for Karen El-Kalai-Gut.
I've been waiting for this book for a long time. I've heard the poems for years. I think we all really need to congratulate Celia. It's such a great evening. Buffalo Romance. Am I in the way of the screen? Buffalo Romance. Past loves declared over sweet summer teas sit polished and full on your formica table beside the kettle, like old witches who sell apples. We draw each one out with care. Now we are clean. 2. In the fall, I notice our awning in the attic. We never hung plants on its bare poles. Fat rain drips from them slowly as I write to say how things are. Below, the garden's earth grows muddy, and I haven't yet brought in the squash. A plane breaks through the clouds. I feel like you're on it. Just now, leaving me. 3. That night after the city's first snowfall, your saxophone sang those thick, slow notes as I walked by your apartment. A yellow light from inside mixed with shadows on your face as I watched through the elms. Before, the gray-white snow had seemed in place, until I stood there, remembering the color of the leaves when I last heard you play. Whirlpool. Whirlpool for Shani. Where's Shani? She does this thing with her eyes as she puts on her play for me in the living room. She rolls them up and backwards, not looking at, yet talking to me all the time. Her 4-year-old face is angled and square, knowing more now than I could ever have known. Floating about the room, her skin bears my wounds like jewels, her silk maze locks, and my fear, her tiara. In another dimension, I know she's my mother, or husband who left. She and I together here, turning on a whirlpool carpet, both of our eyes rolled up and backwards in protest. For years, this is true. For the years this is true. You go to sleep before me. For years this is true. I slip into warmth, white sheets you've pre-baked like loaves in an oven for me. For years this is true. I've seen your arms strong, holding babies, holding parents. I've seen your legs gone, wrapped around other limbs and come back. Your back has been arched. Your back has been bent. Your feet have been my mind for years. So strange the night when I slide by your side, join a world you have already entered. For years this is true, and I know of our comfort, for you're here in our bed, toasting sheets, dampening pillows with heat, endurance, the crown of our love. For years this is us, comfy in quilts and flannel. For now you sleep quiet, deep in the dark, but by low light of stars, barely seen on your soft old face, on your old soft lips, with me unable to quench, lies a whisper which aches for surprise. Fur. In the dark, between your chest and your shoulder, I find that hollow, that concave place concealed and covered by fur. Like a rabbit, I burrow my head, enjoying the velvet soft of this very private niche. Today, male models will wax their bodies clean like David's, but I savor the luxury thick across your chest. Thank you.
Now, with their rendition of Let It Be, I'm pleased to reintroduce Tomer Kling and the Boosgumps.
Speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
Our next reader has published 17 books, such as The Importance of Swimming, I'm not jealous, Love Cycles, and Poet's Guide to the Holy Land. He's been translated into 8 languages, and his second book of Hebrew poems will be published later this year by Keshev. Please welcome Elazar Larry Freifeld.
Okay, good. Can you see my face? I can't. Anyway, I've known Celia for some years, and I've always admired her poetry. And I'm really happy and honored to have been invited to read some of her lovely poems. This one is titled In the Floor. Not the floor, but floor, F-L-A-W. There was a softness in seeing her wearing glasses instead of the contact lenses she normally wore. She seemed less perfect, less constricted by norms of beauty, more relaxed and imperfect, slightly flawed, slightly unbuttoned, flawed just enough to make her human, approachable. Too much order makes for nervousness. To disturb that fine order, to shake it up like you do with your hair when you towel it dry and then rabble-rouse it rough with havoc-crazed fingers, like sweeping off the setting of a perfect table with the widest swoop of one reckless arm. So beautiful, upside down, just the crash of glass shattering pieces. Or maybe just the stain from the bottom of a wine glass, purple on white, of a starched, ironed cloth. Perfection has its problems. Release is in the floor. I wish I could move around more, but I'm having trouble with my eyes, and I'm not looking for sympathy, but rather patience. Not easy to acquire. This next poem is titled In Waiting, Israeli Unrest, Israeli Unrest. In a plastic baggie, the best of my rings stuffed on the side of my dresser drawer with a few crumpled dollars and thyroid meds, just in case. Organized tins of sardines, stuffed grape leaves, bottles of spring water, olive oil. You would think for a feast on Jerusalem hills, with a blanket spread gracious on poppy-filled fields. What will I do when the siren sounds? What will I grab in that moment of now? Purple sneakers in waiting, my days, my nights in suspense. Remember this tomato, breathe in this peach. What can I plan for when the siren sounds? When I run for my kidneys, I run for my breath. Before the roof, the plaster, my legs fall down. The land of milk and honey, the no Polish village or Russian farm. No. Yet here it is, still on my arm, too familiar. Untattooed in purple, it covers my skin in unseen ink from pasts that certainly repeat. Continually repeat. Slicha. Man sagt in Yiddish, derselbe Dreck. Wherever you go, the Jews have the same tzores. Nun, gemein. In Russian villages, in Israel, nah, shtuyot. Anyway, rak b'riut. This poem is titled Dance. It's almost over, don't worry. This poem is titled Dance of the Returning Children. When they leave, it tugs at first. You are nauseous, slightly irritable. Irritable insides. Is that a syndrome? Or something ignored, pushed to denial? Denial. That river in Egypt where we focus on palm trees and camels, on women washing clothes with wet stones. We wash away thoughts about this, about that, and our soon-to-be ending future till they return again. Fill the space with oasis. Their light and their strength, their confusion. Then leave with their laughter and anger, their plans and their hopes hanging out of their bags like left behind sweatshirts and socks. And the dance continues. Back and forth, a dizzying waltz till they're ready at last, leaving you and me to find our own feet, redefine the way we move in, we move out, and around each other again. It reminds me when my children come to visit and they get on an airplane and go back home. Sad. This poem is curious. It's something to do with pockets here. It's called Pockets. In the folds of my pockets I find notes. In my jackets, my pants, my worn winter coats. What does it say here? Sour cream, shampoo, 2% milk, cranberries, Aunt Annie? Wonder what that means. Gravy? Found long after with a ball of moist lint. Stick of gum, a tissue, a dime, turning lime. You know how they change color after a while? 3 sweet potatoes, ginger, green tea, 2 leeks, shoe polish, poem. Oh, okay, I don't even remember. Tooth. Seasons pass, reappear, and they're there in hiding, crumpled, stained and torn, their contents reflecting their time. Blue moon lyrics, rye bread, fat rain, flea collar, oh, anemone. I had to look that up in the dictionary again. My memory's gone. It's a wildflower. Momentary wisps of winter's gone, recipes past, words or beloveds in need of a visit. Each list has its meanings, its flavors, its scents, in days of bananas, of music, of mint, of people I cooked for, or tables I set. Words that I ran with or notes that I sang. Tearless shampoos for soft baby heads. Souls worn from worry in need of repair. Did I visit that cousin, that poem, that pie? Did I learn the words to that song? Long are the lists of missions completed. Long are the lists of those that were not. I revisit these lists, faded days, vanished years. I, like my pockets, can't seem to let go.
Our last reader for this event, you've probably never heard of her, Celia!
Oh boy, oh boy. I told somebody that looking at you guys is like looking at the sun. It's too bright. I can't. It's just too many. I can't thank you enough. So many people from so many different walks of my life, and I really appreciate it. And well, I'll go through it more formally now, okay? Thank you, Tomer. Yeah. בסדר גמור, יופי. Yeah, I'm a little excited. Okay. I was thinking that what is writing poetry for me? And I think that writing poetry, it enables me to touch base with the person I wish I could be more often. I try to hone in on a frequency, a vibe. It's almost tangible and very similar to the frequency we can touch through music as well. That's why, for me, it was so important to have the combination of the two. And if you look very closely at the cover of this collection, you should be able to read many, many rows of words, which I chose. And Michael Dickel did the lovely design as I requested. It came out perfectly. And the reason that I asked him to do that was because in poetry, it's a specific word, the sound, the connotations, along with the rhythm, meter, and rhyme, and everything that come together that hopefully echo and convey an idea or experience from the poet's thoughts to the paper, and with any luck, to the reader. So here it is. Here's the book and the event. And yeah, it's a long, strange trip it's been. And all of you. And I'm so excited to have you all here at this launch. It's been a long time coming, many years, and everybody's been saying it is like a birth. Yes, it definitely is. With the time and the care, much longer than a birth. Time and the care and the pain and the joy, and it's born, and I'm very happy. Before I read a little, I do want to thank many people, wonderful people who have been there for me, to encourage and push me and even scold me when I needed it. I'm going to start with Michael Dickel, who was my talented editor for this. We've been working on this for a while, and he has always been there for me. And I was so happy to have his wealth of knowledge, advice, and his friendship to see me through this process. At one point, I just told him outside, there was a mix-up with the books. Are they coming? Am I getting somebody else's book? Yeah, you almost got somebody else's book. And we were on the phone. He's in Jerusalem, I'm in Tel-Aviv, and I'm like, well, the books, where am I going to get back? And he said, Celia, it's going to be okay. And I said, oh, okay, so, and it was. And thank you, Michael. To Sean Edry, my wonderful friend and creative talent, author, poet, for all of his help over the years. He's always had my back. He's always been there. And I just enjoy working with him. And when he agreed to organize this whole event, it was just wonderful, the best thing for me. To my amazing, talented musical friends who participated and really helped upgrade this event. Maytal Trabelsi, the amazing Maytal, and she has a wonderful show. I'm going to see it for the third time because I love it so much. Tomorrow at Ha'ezor, it's called. You can check it in Tel Aviv. It's a great, wonderful, with her original work. Tomer is also singing and accompanying, and there's a whole ensemble. Go, it's very good. We're going to be there. And Esti Rofe, our wonderful flautist, who, as you can see, she's extremely talented and well-known, and whenever she plays, my heart just soars. To my second family, the Boosgumps. These women have been with me through so much, good and bad, and music, and we've been together for, I think, we're on our 14th year now. We say we're a drinking group that sings, so that gives you an idea of what we do most of the time. To the maestro, Tomer Kling, who brings his poetic genius, unbelievable poetic genius to my life, along with his beautiful friendship, really amazing, and connected me to wonderful people that I would have never have met, and En milim. To the wonderful poets participating, I am so honored, all of you, all of you. Karen Alkalai Gut is a poetic force of nature. I mean, this woman is amazing, wonderful, and I'm so honored to have you here. Lois Michal Unger, not only is she a poet with many books, she's an actress, an accomplished actress, as is Elazar Larry Freifeld, amazing and so wonderful. I've known them over the years with great books, and so nice that you came on board for this. Of course, to my amazing family, who I embarrassed. Sorry, guys. Never have felt so exposed in my life. God. Anyway, really, I need to thank, first of all, my wonderful husband, Yechiel, Tadar Bamotek, to Oren, Rotem, Yoni, and Shani, along with my 3 sisters, Perry, who's not here, but Ray and Vivi are here. And all of you have lived through the ups and downs of my writing, and I thank you. And to all of my friends, all of these amazing friends, as I said, who are coming both here and abroad, who are just so supportive, all those Buffalo friends and Washington and all those people who are just so wonderful. Julie Schreiber Yosef Yan is always there for me, and I just so appreciate all of your support. And now I'll read a few. So deciding which poems should go into this collection was difficult because there were many, and I just wanted a taste of different poems. And this focused mostly on different stages of my life and different areas that I lived, starting in Lexington, Kentucky, my childhood, and moving on to Buffalo, New York, with a little bit from my time in Paris, and then on to my life in Israel. Within each section, the poems are for the most part, each section, not the book, they're for the most part chronological, with 1 or 2 exceptions, but you can kind of see from early on to more recent. And so basically, you have some of this, and some of that, and some of this too. And I'm going to start with the first poem in the book, called Aliyah, the Language. It's on page 3. Aliyah, the Language. I came here bringing pumpkin and squash, starched autumn air, clay dark and oozing, fat clouds and snow, all in a basket familiar and safe in color and nuance. I found here yellow and chamsin, turquoise and froth, irises, cacti, and gardens of granite speaking to me in tongues. 10 summers have passed, and I haven't forgotten cut grass in my toes or the fireflies' glow, summer thunder and steam. But jasmine heat climbs to my terrace now, and mint sweats sweet in my tea. And the orange blossoms beckon, singing, welcome, come touch. And at last, I have opened my arms. Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, I have. As I mentioned, I spent some time in Paris before I moved to Israel. I studied French and English literature at UB, University of Buffalo. And when I traveled there, I really fell in love with the magic of the city. And many years later, my sons traveled on their own without me, the 2 of them. And this is a poem I wrote when they went. It's on page 27. It's called Paris Unsaid. I sent my boys off to Paris today, 22 and 20, the same age as I when captured by the Seine's rainbow twinkle, Élysées' grandeur. They are cynically young, from press keys and wire with gadgets literally out of their ears. They will turn the same corners, eat the same bread, their boundless dreams, though well hidden, as green as mine at that time. Anxiously, I wait to see how they fared away from their text-messaged world. Will they feel autumn slide through the narrow back alleys? Will they smell lovers' sighs in small, dim cafes? Will their sneakered feet remember the cobblestone worn and uneven from horses past and sports cars present? Will they tell of glances and blushing and wet autumn leaves and cool white marble, of ponds round and shallow with toy boats that float as children jump past with their plaid woven scarves and their small yapping dogs? I've walked them to school, these two young men. I've taught them to swim and to drive, but I can't help but wonder and worry a bit. Have I taught them to hear what's unsaid? And apparently they heard it. Thank you. They came back. They heard a lot of it. This one's a little different, a little harder, but it's also based on a true story on page 42. It's called Hannah. A true story which I moved around a little. Hannah. Rare Sumatran tiger eats her cubs at the biblical zoo, is what the headline says. And before getting all, she didn't want babes that were born under lock, know that it happens in the wild too. They sometimes go all cannibal mom, eat off their cubs' cabbage heads, then leave their limp bodies sprawled, runny eggs in the grasses. This one had done it 3 times before. Not the neglect, that is, not the eating. Hannah had a history of not taking care. 3 times her endangered pups endangered. The zoo had stepped in to help. But she ate them this time. After 6 weeks of grooming and pruning and care, after 6 weeks of tar teats cracked and tugged, brittle, 6 weeks. They thought she was good this time. Only 400 more on the Isle of Sumatra and 400 more left in zoos. The stories our minds will produce to make sense of this worst of all possible crimes. A babe in a bucket, a child in a bag, cut up and dismembered, thrown to the hills. What is it that pinches her nerves till they squeak, that rids her of instinct inherent? What is it that throws her at panic's wall? The incessant need, the yowls, the whining, the terror of tending the tender? Or maybe it's nothing. No rhyme, no reason, no time that is better or worse. Just snap. I have a good friend who's visiting, very happy that he made it, and he's an amazing photographer. You should check out his site on the web, Mikel Tuval. The name under is Mikel Tuval. And I'm going to be reading a poem that his works inspired me to write. This one, it's called Ships on page 84. And it uses part of a line from Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's Tales of a Wayside Inn, of ships that pass in the night. Ships. So on the ocean of life we pass, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. We sit in the mall cafe talking photographs. The air is plastic, the music benign. In a booth near the restroom, holding tall iced coffees, you say you'll be leaving again, and I know. In your photos, purple feathers, headdresses of kings, fat crocodile teeth, plush carpets of pines. There are women with weavings, brown children on boats, angles of blue and the rust of red soil. I am losing my breath. I am nauseous with awe. I am inside the lens of your eye. There are shadows of green spreading fingers on rocks and Einstein-like webs in the trees. I am covered with waves. I am licking a cloud. I am climbing a steeple of slate. Is there anything else? The waitress asks. No, thanks. We pack up and leave. You to your knapsack, your travel-worn boots, me to my words and the mall. Okay, the last poem of the collection is the event is the last poem of the collection. It's on page 88, Ozymandias Revisited, after the sonnet by Shelley. No one will write a book of my life or a script for a movie, a score for a play. No Wikipedia will journal my trail, early life and career. No one will uncover secrets I take. No ants will fill gaps in the me that you knew. And if they do, soon enough they will fade and evade with the days that flew. My name will pass on as Celine or Celeste or Emma Sophia, and my recipes will be known as Sophie's Soufflé or Sadie's Sage Chicken, with no scent of me in the rising steam. No works will be found in my dresser or laptop before they are given or tossed in the street. I am no Winston Churchill, Galileo Galilei. I have built no bridges or composed fat concertos that may lengthen my stay for a spell. I'm the man at the counter, the girl at the dance. I'm the kid with the baseball, the guy with the truck. I will not be remembered for good or bad luck. I am me, I am you, with the wave of a hand and the whiff of a breath. Like the flight of a leaf, I am gone. Thank you so much, everybody.
We can give her another round, right? Yeah! On behalf of Celia and my fellow readers, thank you all for coming. At this time, I'd like to welcome back Tomer Kling and the Boosgumps to play us out with Tomer's arrangement of Somebody to Love. Have a great weekend and buy this too.
And I also need to thank Sean for everything. Wait, there's one more song, Sean, and our lighting and sound people who did amazing jobs. Thank you so much, Teatron Tmuna. Thank you, Amet.
What you are doing to me, I've spent all my years in believing you, but I just can't get no relief. Lord, somebody, oh somebody, could anybody find me somebody to love? I work hard every day of my life. I walk till I ache my bones. gotta get out of this prison cell. One day